What's up, y'all? Cosmic Cage back again with another video. And as promised, we are doing reaction videos. You know, now in this current time, one of the big topics that a lot of people are tending to talk about is, does a man have any control or say over what a woman wears when she goes out? And I'm assuming this is only speaking about people who are in a relationship or married. This advice is for men who is probably going through this, or who heard about these situations, or want to learn how to deal with this. So I don't want to waste too much time. I want to get right into this video.
Should he have any control over what you wear when you go out?
Oh, hell no. No.
Shit.
No.
If Shawty wears something a little too bit revealing, you heard me? I should have a bit say so just because like you were a reflection of me.
No.
If that makes sense.
No. Women can wear what they want to wear. I shouldn't have to talk to my husband about wearing what I should wear, you know?
You find like someone, but at the same time, also be respectable and respect your husband, you heard me?
If I want to wear a bralette, I can wear a bralette out. I shouldn't have to ask for his permission. I shouldn't ask for his permission.
No thing on your titties out?
I'm not saying my titties out. He's saying if I wear a
bralette
and the underwear. That's what I'm saying. I know. A man should not be able should not be able to tell a woman what she should and should not wear. It's 2023. If there are flying cars, that means men cannot tell women what they should wear.
So my first initial thought on this is we have to understand that men and women aren't the same as into what we look at and what we value. One thing that I always can say that women have said, and I completely agree with them, if you meet a woman and she dresses a certain way and you expect her to change the way she dresses because you're with her now, that's not more likely going to happen. That's going to be a little bit more of a battle versus someone who doesn't dress as provocative or who wears a lot of skin. So if you get a woman and you meet her and she's not wearing a lot of clothes, don't think that by you inserting yourself in her life that you all of a sudden is going to change how she dressed, because that's going to be a topic within itself, and that's going to be a fight that you technically can't really win. Now, there is cases that people do change the way they dress. Obviously, it happens with age, it happens with, you know, marriage and all that other things, but I'm giving you a general concept to avoid a lot of these issues. First and foremost, if you don't like your girl to dress very revealing, then maybe don't pick up a girl that dress revealing. You know, that's the first and biggest thing that you could stop at any indicators beforehand. Now, it's one thing if she dresses normal and then all of a sudden you're in a relationship and she dresses provocative. That is a conversation you need to have with her, because something is happening and something's changing, and you need to find out before it gets too late. Second part of this that I want to talk about is the respect in relationship. I think this is the biggest part that I think people need to concern or worry about when they have these conversations. What I mean by respect in relationships, I think if you're in a relationship with that person, you should respect what they say. So if I tell you you did something to hurt my feelings, you should respect that, like, damn, I hurt this person I cared about feeling. I should try to figure out why I hurt their feeling. What did I say? Was it a miscommunication? Like, what happened that we could come back to a consensus and understand that there was nothing there for me to try to hurt your feeling, so that we can move forward and get better. It doesn't fall short of words, that falls also with actions as well. If you are wearing something as a woman and your man is uncomfortable with it, you should be more concerned with the fact that your man is uncomfortable rather than the issue that he has with what you're wearing. Like I said, men and women, we look at stuff differently. For a guy, it might be a little bit different. Two people with an opinion trying to come to a consensus that people can move forward and understand, like, how can we make this work? If I am your man and I feel uncomfortable or I'm not happy with decisions you're making, you should have a conversation with me so we could find mutual grounds. I don't think this should be an attack or a battle for us to try to find that. And that's what I see in this clip, and that's what I see very often. I see that this conversation becomes more about women empowerment than respecting something that makes your man feel uncomfortable. I think it works both ways. Like, if you're doing something that she doesn't really like or it's very uncomfortable for her, you want to have that conversation to get to that happy medium. But it's the same in this. Men know the way you dress will solicit more attention, and more attention means more men coming up to you, more men talking to you, more opportunities. As we understand, men and women flirt differently. Women doesn't necessarily have to flirt. If you are wearing little to no clothes, that is you flirting. Whether you believe it or not, this is what a guy sees when he looks at that. So a guy is telling you, like, I don't really like that. That's a little too revealing. You got a lot of stuff out. He's really just saying that because he knows how men are programmed. And he knows when you go out, you're going to be harassed by a bunch of men. That's why he's saying this. Most of the time, it has nothing to do with the actual clothes, because as you see with him, he feels fine with you wearing that clothes when he's around, and that's something I've heard a lot of times. There's another issue that a lot of people always come up with this discussion too. Like, I personally, you know, I'm 50-50 when it comes to this topic. I generally would not talk to anyone to begin with who's pretty much naked outside. I'm gonna be real with you. I would not sit there, see someone naked and think like, I want to cuff that. That is not who I am. So I don't think I would put myself in this situation as much. I would always go back to people understanding how much feelings of people you care about matter. And the other part, the security part. Now, what's gonna happen because you dressed a certain way, right? And I'm here with you, men are still gonna try it. And now this puts me in a position where it's like, I gotta defend you because some guy says something crazy because you're dressed crazy. Now I'm in this position where I have to like fight for you now because of your choice of clothing. I've seen a whole nother part of this where it's like, if the man doesn't fight for you, then he's not really a protector or provider for you. I don't know about you, but as an adult, when you become a certain age, you shouldn't look to fight people. That shit is just childish. It's very, very childish. One thing to defend yourself, it's another thing to go out your way to fight somebody. That is two different natures. Can't tell you, how often do you see rich people fighting, bro? They don't fight. They might get in a little something, some little scuffle, but you don't see rich people fighting. The most people that I see fighting all the time is poor or mentally unstable people who need a lot of help. They're getting frustration and anger out a different way than what they need to really mentally and physically and spiritually. The end case of this discussion that I want to really encompass is not really about the clothes that the person is wearing. It's more so about how you make your partner feel when you make a decision. I think that's the biggest thing that you take from this whole conversation. In a relationship, you should be able to come to a consensus. There's gonna be issues and cases where you're not gonna be on the same page. But at the end of the day, each party needs to respect how each one feels, and then y'all need to address why y'all feel like this versus the natural instinct of saying, oh, you're doing this because you're, you know, offended or you're jealous or whatever it is. You know, I think it's a never-ending debate and a never-ending conversation, but I think at the end of the day, respect how everybody feels, talk, always have a conversation, and then from there, try to find a common ground. Beating a lot of these issues from the beginning, as I discussed, it will be a big thing from you avoiding a lot of these conversations. And this is why you have to talk to people whose principles align with you. Other than that, it's Cosmic Cage back again with another video. Hope you got something from this. Other than that, Cosmic Cage out.